BookTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you about some of the reading plans that I have in August. And this is not just going to be a TBR video, which is why I'm saying reading plans, because I'm going to expound a little bit more on my bookish goals for August. One of which is to do VEDA, which is vlog every day in August. We do VEDA in August and April, I guess the 2 months that begin with A. And I haven't really done VEDA or Vlogmas or any of those with any kind of complete success before, so I'm really gonna try to do it in August. I feel like the fact that I am off for most of August means that I'll be able to devote a little bit more time to making videos and actually posting them every day. So that's one of the things that you're going to be seeing on this channel, a lot more videos in August, hopefully to be able to get back to some kind of reconciliation of my schedule. I have so many videos that are outstanding that I just need some time to just figure it out, put them on my channel. My take on VEDA is that the videos are going to be a lot more low-key, so I'm going to try to do more of unedited videos, so it will mean that I can post more if I don't have to spend as much time editing things. So if I make stumbles and corrections and so on during these videos, understand that that is the price of getting more videos, that they're not as scripted, they're not as done. So I'm also planning, hoping, working towards doing a 30 in 30 or 31 in 31. So 31 books in 31 days in August. It means that I have to average a book a day, but since I don't read a book every day, and some of the books that I'm planning to read are pretty long, it means that I have to read some books, multiple books in one day. And there are several days in August where I don't have a lot going on. So I think that I'll be able to accomplish this. I'm going to be looking for some of the shorter books that I have on my TBR shelf to just kind of fill in spaces when I can, and continue doing multiple books at a time kind of scenario, where if every day, instead of reading a book, I read 50 pages here and 50 pages there, and I do that for 4 books, then over the course of 4 days I would have read 4 books that I probably wouldn't otherwise be able to read each one of those books every day. Now I'm rambling, I don't want to do that. So a couple of the goals that I've already talked about: VEDA, vlog every day in August, or post a video to my channel every day in August, and trying to read 31 books in 31 days in August. I don't have 31 books picked out right now. I do have way more than 31 books that I could read in August, but I don't have them all picked out yet. But I do have this awesome book organization card that I just got, and I'm looking forward to utilizing to its full potential. So right here on my card, I have it right next to me, I have about 12 books that I'm going to be showing you that are going to be on my TBR. I'm going to also tell you about the books that I've written down. I have 23 books listed on my TBR right here. This is my August 2019 TBR. And I'm going to tell you the books. Some of them I don't yet have, but I'll be getting sometime during the month. Some of them are books that I've already reserved from the library. Some of them are books that I'll need to buy. They're coming soon. But the first book that is on my TBR that I know I'm going to be reading this month, because I've already started reading it, is a buddy read that I'm doing with Dee Dee from Brown Girl Reading. We're reading together A House for Mr. Biswas by V.S. Naipaul. This is a chunkster. This one is 620 something pages. That's the first one on my list. The next book on my list is a book that I have downstairs. I should have picked it up already, but I didn't. It is Bird by Anne Lamott. I have read that book before. It is one of the books that comes up on the canon of books for people who want to be writers, or books for writers in general. And I'm reading that one to have a discussion with one of the students that I'm tutoring in the summer. And I thought it was a very interesting choice for a teenage student, because it feels like a book that is more geared towards adult writers. But this student, he's in high school, and he has to write a comparison between the writing style in one novel and the writing style that is taught by Anne Lamott in Bird by Bird. And I found this to be a fascinating exercise. So in order to prepare for having discussions with him, I'm going to be rereading Bird by Anne Lamott. So that's the second book on my TBR. Third is Secret History by Donna Tartt. I've wanted to read that ever since I read The Goldfinch a couple of years ago, or was that last year? In any case, I'm reading A Secret History by Donna Tartt with Bethany from Beautifully Bookish. Bethany, her Patreon book club, that is the choice for August. And so I requested it from the library. I haven't gotten it yet. The fourth book on my August TBR is Alice Munro, Too Much Happiness. And Alice Munro is a Nobel Prize winning novelist. And so I'm reading that one with Britta Bowler's Noble Women Read Along group. And I own a book by Alice Munro, but I haven't read anything by her before, so I'm looking forward to participating in Britta's Noble Women Read Along. I'm going to link Britta's Noble Women Read Along down below, because if you haven't already been following her channel and hearing about the books that she's highlighted to introduce some of us who don't read as many Nobel Prize winning novelists as maybe we want to, I find this to be a fascinating exercise. And even for novelists who I've already read from, I'm finding it so helpful to read and discuss these books with other people around the same time. Another book that I'm going to be talking about later is one that was discussed earlier in the year, but we'll get back to that. I have two books that I'm going to be reading that I don't yet have, but I need to acquire because they are finalists for the BookTube Prize. Yes, I'm judging the finals round for the BookTube Prize, and even though the ballots are not due until September, and I only have two books that I haven't yet read from the list of 6 that I need to judge for this round, I'd like to read those 2 in August, so that in September I can possibly reread the 4 that are on the list that I have already read. And with all the books on my TBR, why do I want to reread 4 books that I've already read in the not so recent past? Because I feel like in order to judge objectively, that the books that I've already read and that I've had some time to process the stories, I feel like they might weigh stronger in my mind than the books that I'm just reading now. So I want to give each one of the 6 books a fair shake, give each one a fair field to play on. So first I'm going to read the 2 books that I haven't yet read, and then I'm going to revisit the 4 that I have read before and see how they match up so that I can really accurately process and judge. As you can tell, I'm taking this judging opportunity really seriously. So if you are watching and you know someone who also works in other book prizes, let them know that I'm available for judging book prizes. Love it. The next 2 books are books that I need to read for the Runwright Reads book club. One is a book that I've already started and I haven't yet finished. That is Last Orders by Graham Swift. This was the book club, or one of the book club picks in July. I started but haven't finished, so I'm going to be finishing this one in August. And I'm also going to be reading the August pick, which is The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. I don't yet have a copy of that book, so I've requested it from the library, but I'm also going to be purchasing my own copy because I feel like by the end of this year I'm going to own all the Booker winners. Don't tell my husband though. He doesn't yet know all the books that are coming in. If you weren't already familiar, August is being celebrated as Women in Translation Month, which means that throughout the month of August, the emphasis is on reading books by women who have written in other languages and their books have been translated to another language that you read in. So for me, I read in English. I'm looking for books that were written in other languages and translated to English. I have a few books that are on my TBR for that purpose. For other people, Women in Translation may be books that were written in English and translated to their language because they're foreign language speakers. Whatever the translation for you, I have a few books that I'm going to be trying to read during the month. And then of course, the last week in the month, Matthew Sharapa and Kendra Winchester are hosting again their Women in Translation readathon. And because that is 1 week and I'm not sure what my plans will be at the end of the month, I'm going to be trying to incorporate reading books by women in translation all throughout the month. So I have a few books already chosen. The first one is Greed by Elfriede Jelinek. I think that's how her name is pronounced. She's a German writer and she's a Nobel Prize winning novelist. This, incidentally, is the book that Britta Bowler's Noble Women Read Along group read in May, and I didn't get a chance to participate in the group during that month, so I'd requested it from the library. It finally came in, and so now I'm going to try to read it in August. So Greed by Elfriede Jelinek. This is translated from German, and the translator is, and that's one of the prompts for the read along, that you should try to find books where the translator is credited on the cover of the book, because publishers don't always do that. Sometimes you have to hunt to find the name of the person who painstakingly translated a book from another language so that you could have access to it. In this case, Greed was translated by Martin Chalmers or Calmers. So this is the first book that is on my Women in Translation readathon TBR. No, this is the first book that is on my TBR in August. That is a Women in Translation read. I don't yet know what my TBR is going to be for the readathon. It might include some of these books if I don't get to them before that point, or it might, maybe we'll have brand new books because I would have already read all of these that I'm going to mention right now. Other books, I'm going to be rereading Flights by Olga Tokarczuk. I read this one last year and I don't feel like I got everything that I wanted to get from this book because it was a difficult experience to read. I enjoyed it. I felt like I loved it, but I wasn't sure what it was that I loved about it. So I'm planning to reread this book this month. Flights by Olga Tokarczuk won the Man Booker International Prize last year, and I actually got this book for free from a Goodreads giveaway, which was a fantastic win. And because of that, I want to reread this book and love it. Camille from What Camille Reads raved about this book back when it was first being talked about, and I want to reread it in August. Other Women in Translation books, I have Gourmet Rhapsody by Muriel Barbary. She's the author of The Elegance of the Hedgehog, which was recommended to me by Lillian Nieswender. Hi Lillian. And I absolutely love that book. I own a copy. So I saw this in the used bookstore. I picked it up in July. I think I forgot to put this on my July haul, but that's okay. I'm telling you now, it's in my July haul. I picked this one up and I planned to read it in July for Reading Rush. I didn't get around to it, so I put it on my Women in Translation TBR for August. And I've already read it. This is the book that I started and finished today. So you'll be hearing about this book a little bit more when I do my Friday Reads video, but I'm putting it in my TBR video, so it's the first book that I can cross off my TBR and say, I've read it. Gourmet Rhapsody by Muriel Barbary. This one is translated from French by Alison Anderson. 3 other Women in Translation novels that I'm looking forward to getting to in August are Love in the New Millennium and Celestial Bodies. Both of those were nominated for the Man Booker International Prize. Celestial Bodies is the winner of the prize, so I definitely want to read that one. And a book by Samantha Schweblin was nominated for the Man Booker International Prize as well, but I'm not as interested in her short story collection. I'd prefer to read her novel that was published, I think, the year before, which is Fever Dream. So I'm putting those 3 books on my August TBR. Love in the New Millennium, which is translated from Chinese. Fever Dream by Samantha Schweblin, translated from Spanish. The author is from Argentina. And Celestial Bodies, I think, is translated from Arabic. It is set in Oman, I think it is. Along with these other 3 that I've already shown you. So 6 Women in Translation novels that I'm looking forward to getting to in August. Other books, these are both from the publisher, State of Lies by Siri Mitchell and The Beginner's Guide to Winning an Election by Michael French. I need to review these on my blog in August, so I'm going to be reading these. So these are definitely on my TBR as a must read during August. Other books that I want to read, I had some books that I put on my summer TBR, which is what I call the TBR video that I made at the beginning of July and didn't get to, so I pushed them over to August. And those include Unmarriageable by Sonia Kamal. And I'm really motivated to read this one in August because Krista from Books and Jams is hosting Austen August, where the goal is to read books by Jane Austen as well as books that have been inspired by Jane Austen's books. And this one is a Pride and Prejudice retelling in Pakistan, which has been on my TBR now for the last 2 months or so. And I haven't gotten around to it because there isn't a publisher waiting for me to review this. And so I keep pushing it to the back, to the back, to the back again. But this time I'm putting it to the front. I'm saying that I'm going to be reading this in August, even though I've said that before. other books that I need to read are for my book challenge by Erin, which is the Facebook reading challenge that I'm participating in. And so I have 3 books that were on my TBR in July that I didn't get to, that I need to read in August so that I can cross off those prompts for that challenge. First one is Rites of Passage by William Golding. This is a previous Man Booker winner, so I need to read that for my Man Booker reading challenge as well. Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali. I was hoping to get to this one during Reading Rush. I didn't get to it, but I still want to read it because I've heard good things about it. And History of the Rain by Neil Williams. This was nominated for the Man Booker Prize a few years ago, and of course it didn't win, but I've had it on my TBR for a little while now, and I'm intrigued to read the story, but I'm also reading it to fulfill a challenge. Read a book that has some weather phenomenon in the title. Rain is a weather phenomenon. And so yeah, those are some of the books that were on my July/summer TBR that I haven't yet read, which I'm pushing over to August. I also have another Man Booker winner on that list of books that I need to read to fulfill that Facebook challenge, but I don't have a copy right now, and that is Disgrace by J.M. Coetzee. I think I own a copy. I'm gonna have to scour my bookshelves, otherwise I'll need to request a copy from the library to read. I think I own it. I can't think of where it might be because it's not with my other Man Booker books, but I'm gonna look for that book, but it's on my TBR for August. And then the last book that I have right now in a physical format and that I have identified that I have on my August TBR is The Far Field by Madhuri Vijay. I really want to read this book. I've heard great things about this book from Jacqueline from 6 Minutes for Me and Robert from Barter Hordes, and I know that once I start reading this book, I'm going to get really immersed and I won't be able to stop. So maybe that's why I've been pushing it to the back, because I've been just so busy doing all these other things. I feel like I don't have time to read a book this size from start to finish. But I'm gonna read this book pretty soon. It's on my August TBR, The Far Field by Madhuri Vijay. I have read a lot of books by Indian authors and books that are set in India that have not disappointed me. Something about books that are set in India I just find fascinating. So I'm looking forward to getting to this one. It's on my August TBR. And so of the books that I just showed you and the titles that I mentioned otherwise that I'm hoping to get coming to me in some format, whether from buying them or from getting copies from the library, those are 23 books. And remember, my goal is to read 31 books in August. I'd like to read all of these that I just mentioned, as well as other books. I'm leaving myself open to including some books that I haven't yet heard about, haven't yet thought about, in my goal to read 31 books in August. Those are big plans that I have for August. Posting a video on my channel every day, as well as reading a book on average every day in August, as well as keeping up with all the other parts of my life. I'm going on a trip for a week where I may not be able to post the videos, which means that I have to pre-film and pre-schedule videos. It's still up in the air about how and whether these plans can actually be accomplished, but that's how I start off every month, with very ambitious goals that sometimes have no chance of being accomplished, but it's fun to try anyway. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe if you want to see more. Let's talk in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Which book is on your TBR that you're the most excited to read? I think if there's one that I'm most excited to read, well, there are two. It will be a toss-up for me between this one, because I've heard so many really great things about it, and this one because I want to read everything by this author. If there's an author that I would say at this point that I want to read everything he's ever published, I feel like V.S. Naipaul right now is it. And he passed away a few years ago, so I know that there's a finite number of books that I'll have to read by him if I want to read everything. So this one and this one are the two that I'm most excited to get to, as well as all the women in translation books that I'm going to be reading in August. Okay, the verdict is out. I'm excited about all the books that I just told you about. So let's talk down in the comments. Let's hear what are the books that you're most excited about. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Let's continue the conversation. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.